Good morning, everybody. It's Schuyler Callihan here, and you are watching another show here on Between the Ears, presented by Mountaineers Now on Sports Illustrated Fan Nation. And if you haven't checked it out yet or seen it yet on Twitter or any of the other social media apps that are existing out there, Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark is saying that they are done expanding for now. That is the big news that has happened in the last 24 hours or so. I don't know if I quite believe it, but this is. I'm going to go and throw up the screenshot here for you so you can see what he says. This was in a recent interview with the Arizona Republic. He says, right now we're done. We had a vision, we had a strategy, and effectively we've been able to execute it. Initially, I wasn't sure if we'd go to 14 or 16. I think 16 was kind of the dream scenario, candidly. From our perspective, our focus right now is to integrate the four incoming schools as quick as we can, get them comfortable. We've already had a couple of transition calls and Zooms with the corner schools, and I'll be making some campus visits. That's my focus right now. We feel very good about our future, what our membership composition looks like when you think about it in terms of where we are and where we are going. Misread that there. We will be in a conference in 10 different states with access to over 90 million consumers in four different time zones. It presents a lot of opportunities and a lot of possibilities for the conference. That's a little long winded to say. Yes, it is, Brett. I'm very comfortable with where we are, and our focus has shifted to execution and making sure that we, and again, integrate those four schools as quickly as we can and make them feel as a part of a family. That sounds great. Sounds great and all, Brett. I truly get the thinking behind it. I do, but again, I'm telling you, when you start hearing the rumblings of Florida State and Duke and North Carolina and Clemson, North Carolina State, Miami, Louisville, Syracuse, all these other schools in the ACC, they're not staying put to 2036. They're just not. There's no way. The only way that happens is if somehow the ACC pulls off a miracle and Jim Phillips lands a brand new reworked deal. And I don't know how feasible that is. When you're talking about the ACC making significantly less money than the Big Ten and the Big 12 and of course the SEC, I don't understand how those schools in that conference in the ACC are going to be okay with. Yeah, we'll just take the least amount of money out of all these other conferences by a wide margin, and we'll be able to not gripe about it for another 13 years. That's not happening, folks. Let's be real. And I know I saw something about Florida State last night that if they wanted to make a move or something, that last night was some sort of deadline. I'm not sure if that was for next year or not, but if Florida State wants to get out, which it seems like they really do, I mean they did end up doing something like a couple of weeks ago with JP Morgan. I don't I haven't read too much into that whole situation, but they want out. They do not want to stick around in the ACC, and I think there's a handful of other schools that are in that same boat. So when that ripple effect starts to happen, when those schools start to want to break away and look at the options on the free agent market, the Big 12 is going to be in the mix. I'm just saying, like they will not just sit back and watch the AC or the SEC and the Big Ten just kind of start picking, who they want. That's not what's going to happen at all. The Big 12 will not just sit on its hands. Brett Yormark is an aggressive commissioner. He understands the value of some of those programs in the ACC. Now, is every program in the ACC valuable? No. Is there some programs in that conference that think they're still valuable? Yes. But I guarantee you, Brett Yormark knows the ones that do bring value. And when you look at what the Big 12 has currently in that Eastern time zone, again, he just said it in that little bit of a quote, and he's talked about it multiple times about being in all four time zones. Being in all four time zones is great. It's terrific. I get the idea behind it. But when you don't have the interest in each time zone. That's the problem. You've got to fix that problem. Right now, when you look at the Big 12, they have three Eastern time zone teams: West Virginia, Cincinnati, Central Florida. No disrespect, and this is not a shot at Cincinnati or Central Florida. West Virginia is the only one bringing eyes. Okay? That's just the facts, cold hard facts. Cincinnati, Central Florida, they have great fan bases, very passionate fan bases, great athletic programs, great universities. But historically, they don't have the backing West Virginia has, who is the 15th winningest program in football. They don't have the backing of a Virginia Tech or even a Pitt, okay? And Pitt doesn't have this huge fan base like they used to. So I think if those schools do come open or available, or they get the sense of that, if Brett Yormark feels like, okay, there's a potential here with some ACC schools, he's going to look into it. I can promise you that. Now, whether or not they add, I don't know, but it just seems like if the ACC falls apart, you have the Big Ten with where they're at, you have the SEC with where they're at. Everyone's trying to get to 20 schools. The Big 12 sitting at 16, I just don't think is the right decision. So right now, yes, the Big 12 is done. I completely believe that. I believe that they are done right now. They're not going to be adding any schools this month, not going to be adding any schools in the next couple of months. But what does next summer look like? Because it's been going, this is almost 3 or 4 consecutive summers now where there has been some sort of shaking and moving in terms of conference realignment. It's not going to settle down next year. I can guarantee you that, especially when you have still the 4 Pac-12 schools out there who I have not even mentioned yet. That could be a possibility for the Big 12. They could just bring those 4 and boom, there's your 20. Okay, so there's a lot of possibilities here for Brett Yormark at Big 12 to get the 20 or beyond. And selfishly speaking, I mean, I would obviously like to see Virginia Tech, Pitt, maybe even Louisville or Syracuse in the Big East, or from those old Big East teams in the Big 12 with West Virginia. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Either way, there's a route to 20 and beyond. It's just a matter of whether or not Brett Yormark wants to take it. So right now they're done adding, but don't believe that they're done completely in the future. So that's going to do it for another show today. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm going to try and do one of these every single day throughout the week. When football season returns, we'll do one on Sunday, giving a reaction from the game. And then we'll still have our long show throughout the week with Chris. We'll hop on and talk about something for 20 or 25 minutes. There's so much to talk about right now with college football being back. So we're going to try and do one every day. Thank you guys for watching, for subscribing. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel on YouTube, Mountaineers Now, give us a like. Follow us on Twitter at Mountaineers Now as well. This show and the other ones that we have wouldn't be possible without your guys' support. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow here on Between the Ears.